Hey guys, hi. This is Sebastian Hugh from France and Paris. I'm a freelance digital artist, and I'm pretty glad to show you a bit of my work and how to do digital painting from photo references. So here you have some I did uh, recently. And this video will be a 30 minutes um, time lapse of how I did my last one. So it's going to be a bit speedy, but I'm sure you may learn some stuff here. So here we go. So starting with blue background from the sky. This is a shot from Zanskar, I guess, from my own stock. And I'm starting with the background. So it's color picking here. So you have the reference with the color palette of the picture, and then you color pick the colors from the photo, and you paint accordingly, trying to get the same composition, same gradient in colors. So one of a cool technique is to when you do a digital painting from scratch, and you have an idea of the color palette and what kind of environment you want, you can take the shot, random shot, and you pixelate it. So you have bigger pixels. So going ahead, I roughly paint with just one brush. I roughly paint the colors, and you already see that there's a lot of different colors here. So the grass is not just green. The grass here is more yellowish, brownish colors, and you have cold colors in the back, like pink colors, blue colors, cyan, and all. I think it's a shot. It's a midday shot, so probably noon, if I remember well. So the shadows are not really hard here. So you have um, almost no shadows on the rocks, so you can see. Going ahead, here you can see that I put highlights, really roughly highlights, and with the lasso tool, I define a little bit better the mountains, trying to be as close as possible to my reference. But the goal is not to do a pure like-for-like piece. It's just to suggest details. And as you can see, I never zoom in the artwork. In the artwork, sorry, to see really how the details are in the back. I just want to suggest details here, just to have almost like a thumbnail effect, that my final piece will look like a photo, but still it's gonna stay a digital painting. So here, taking more color palettes, adding some grass in there, and try to blend a bit. So the exercise here is just to paint with a minimalistic, I don't know if you can say that, but a minimalistic conception of the brushes, for instance, and the technique is just painting. So you paint with just one brush and you just try to get as close as possible to your reference. So I work with just 2 or 3 layers. So one layer for the background, for the sky, because afterwards I'm going to paint the clouds as well. One layer for the background mountain and one layer for the mid and foreground. So I just keep at it and color picking, trying to flesh out a little bit the details back there with some rocks suggestions, some vegetation, or you don't know. Of course, to do this exercise, you need to have a decent big screen. I mean, if you have really a small screen, it's gonna be really hard because here I never zoom in to take the details, so the pixels are really, really small. So it's a bit random. You just try to get the right color to reproduce it on your digital painting, but it's not that accurate. So as you can see, just one brush, going on and on, trying to add little dots for details. And it's just a matter of refining a little bit. I won't go into really detailed piece here, so the final result will be close to the picture, but not as detailed as the shot itself. Because as you can see in the foreground, you have many details. You have the grass, the rocks, a lot of different colors. So I will just suggest the details and you'll see how I do it. Okay, the foreground now. As you can see, there's like a track, and I don't know, it's maybe I don't know what exactly it was. Maybe there was water there, probably yes. But you have the river, and I think this shot was really interesting in terms of mood, in terms of color palette, because you really have this transition from green, greenish colors to pink one and blue and cyan. So really the sense of depth is really interesting. And you have your focal point towards the very background with the river swinging in the middle of the mountains. So it's really interesting, I think. The whole process in there was around 2 hours. It was a 2 hours painting. So I'm still in the learning process, to be honest, but it's a really cool exercise. So as you can see, same thing, trying to add a bit of details in the foreground, midground, color picking, on and on and on. But it's a good exercise because while you're picking the colors, you see the variations. You see that even if a green area, you have like brown colors for the ground. So you always have to think about materials and what you are actually painting. If you're painting a rock, then you have to think about color rocks. So when you're painting grass, you have to think that the grass is not just green, that the grass, just like here, is a bit yellow, a bit saturated, green saturated, even a bit bluish as well. So it's really great to do that, because you have to figure out, the more you do it, the better it is to understand how colors work together. So then, same thing, trying to shape a bit the stones in there. And so, I mean, this video is probably, won't probably learn a lot to expert and even intermediate levels. I mean, it's not really hard to do with practice. I think good painters can do it, and I have still to work on it and be better. And the more you do it, the better you are in this exercise. Still did not change my brush. And here it's an interesting thing. I flipped my canvas, and this is a really good thing to do. When you're doing a digital painting from scratch and from your imagination, and you just fancy an environment, and you think, it's always good for composition to flip your canvas and see from left to right and from right to left whether it's working well or not, because your eyes is getting used to seeing something, and you just don't see something. You have to see something in a different angle to really judge your work. So flipping your canvas is really something good to do. And here I did it because, well, it's from a good composition, I think, of the shot. So maybe it's not that useful, but since it's good because the shadows and highlights don't look the same from left to right than right to left, and your eyes is a bit refreshed with this flipping thing. And so it's great to do it, because I don't know how you paint. I'm a left-handed painter, but my painting style is really left-handed, so my arm is really weird when I paint, and so I have to change my canvas maybe sometimes, because my hand is too I don't know how to say, but it's not in a good position to paint at some stages. So I need to flip the image and paint in the same way, but for another part of the image. So I really recommend that you do that often. especially when it's from scratch digital painting, because you're painting something and your eyes looks, yeah, it's great composition, and once you flip it you say, oh my god, it's totally unbalanced and stuff. So it's good to do it, honestly. So let's going ahead and adding more and more details. So adding some shadows, just to avoid a flat mountain. Color picking again and again, and seeing, adding some random colors sometimes. Just, well, you can color pick from the shot, but you can color pick from your own digital painting, of course. But you can take the colors and pick them from what you already painted. Or you can even randomly change. Okay, so here's the fun part. Here's the fun part, because I changed my brush. And this brush is just random dots scattered with the brush presets. So it's just to suggest the rocks. So once again, I won't go into detail and zoom in to paint every single stone and rocks there. That is just to suggest the material, and the material here is ground with stones. So I just took one brush. I think it's just like 6 or 7 dots, a bit squashed, and then you scatter it just to suggest the multiple stone on the ground. And since I'm a bit lazy guy, I did not change my brush, and I add a bit of details with it all over the painting. So of course, for those who have lots of brushes, you can fine-tune your brush, change according to what you want. But here it's the goal of this is also to be a bit fast, not to have a really refined final piece. So you see, I changed my brush here, but it's, well, I took this one, but it's not quite effective, so I changed again. So I took another one, a really cool textured brush, implying like a bit of grass and irregularities of the terrain, of the landscape. This is quite convenient because this shot, the sun is really up above our head, so you don't have you don't have really hard shadows, but you have cool highlights. Maybe the sky was a bit dark at some place with clouds. But most of the time you have, depending of when you shot, of course you have hard shadows, so you have a shadow that casts with the mountain and stuff, but here it was, I think it was noon shot. Moving on to refining a bit with the same brush. Okay, changed it to define a bit better the transition in the very back and have this valley sensation. You know, you have the feeling that the river is going on over there. So you really have to cut a bit the mountain. So yeah, so that you don't have the feeling that it's the same mountain, but it's a valley, still a valley. So you can even add a bit of vase. Take a lasso tool and define it. I didn't do it, but you can do it as well. Okay, getting back to the foreground, and it's time for grass here. So I took one brush and I paint my grass. You see, it's just one brush looking like grass. Duplicate and paint all over everywhere, changing a bit my colors, tuning, scattering a bit, just to have quickly something effective, which looks a little bit like the photo reference. This is really useful. And knowing your brush presets and how to deal with it, it's really an important thing in Photoshop, because sometimes you really think that, oh my God, I have to paint every stone, every thing, every details, and sometimes you just have one brush, and if you tune it really in an effective way with the brush presets in Photoshop, it's just you're saving so much time. So here's another brush. I put a foreground, very foreground blurred herbs and grass here, just for a bit more of depth. And I think I took back my standard brush. So here I strengthened a little bit the shadows, the darker colors, to have a cool contrast and try to be as close as possible to the photo. I really like this foreground stone. I think it's something really nice. So maybe I should have put it a little bit more on the left side just for the composition, but anyway, it's just to show you how to deal with it. I think the next part will be, of course, the clouds, and the clouds are not that easy to paint. So back, I flip again the canvas and back, and here we go, and here's the clouds and the clouds. So I first roughly paint with white. I think it's 100% white here, and I painted a shape a little bit the clouds, erase some parts of it just to be a bit close, and I had the shadows, you know, the darker colors in the clouds to add depth to them and volume. What is difficult in cloud, it's to give them a sense of volume, that it's 3D. A cloud is just it's not just something in the background. It's something that needs to have depth as well and volume. So you have to put shadows and have them um, whatever you can have it a bit fluffy, a bit roundish, long, and vaporous, whatever. So here is the clouds are a bit fluffy, so it's not that easy. And I have to practice a lot clouds painting because there are so many shapes with clouds. So here's brush to add a bit of details to my clouds. And it's the same thing. You need to know quite a lot your brushes, so to determine quickly what the result you're looking for in your clouds. So erase again. It's just a matter of painting and erasing. You're just sculpting what you painted, so you can paint just a dot, and when you erase it, you have the shape that you want in the end. Here I put some highlights. And it's almost there, I think. I darkened a bit the up of the sky to increase the sense of depth in the middle and in the very back. I put some curves as well to contrast a little bit, maybe darken, and I put some haze in the very background to strengthen the depth. Looking cool. I think to finish the piece, I just correct some little stuff and zoom and finally zoomed in. You see my dots are real small, but I maybe put a little bit too much information in my painting, so I erased a bit of thing, smudged the edges of the mountain in the very background, because if it's too sharp, it's not working properly. So just trying to blend everything together a little bit with a small opacity. You see my different layers there. And I tried just to refine a little bit some things. Just like put some little highlights on the stones there. You see my grass went over the rocks, so it's not coherent, so I erased them. Try to refine a bit this foreground stone. It's nothing, but it's just to imply a little bit better the details, even if there are not too many those details, just to suggest sorry, the materials and the different thing you have, the different information that you have in this photo. Bit of dots in the ground, getting back to the stone. What is interesting is just to, in this exercise, is to be a bit loose in your painting as well. It's not to be stressed up with your arm really, tanned. It's just to be smooth and try to be smooth and try to have a loose painting and have a great moment painting it. Well, I think that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you soon for another one maybe. Thanks. Cheers. Bye-bye.